Hi, it's Ruth Perednik again. I'm so glad you're joining me here, and together we can start thinking about how to help your child with selective mutism. Selective mutism is a childhood anxiety disorder in which children can't speak to certain people or in specific places. Usually, children are most comfortable speaking at home to their nuclear family and find it hardest to speak in school or in kindergarten, so that's where the child has to be helped to talk. So let me start off by giving you some tips on what the teacher or the kindergarten teacher can do, and also should avoid doing to help your child talk and feel more comfortable communicating. How can the teacher or kindergarten teacher help? The teacher is in the eye of the storm, placed where the selective mutism is happening. And an understanding, capable teacher who's willing to invest effort can do so much to help the child. And it's so worthwhile investing in helping children with selective mutism, because after they overcome their selective mutism, they usually take a normal in the best sense of the word, developmental track, becoming regular, fully functioning kids, and will remain perhaps a bit shy and cautious, but they'll talk and communicate like any other child. So here are a few guidelines on how the teacher can help, what she or he can do, and what the teacher should try to avoid doing. So firstly, she should work towards building a warm, supportive, communicative relationship with the child. It is possible to communicate with every child using any way that he currently communicates. This might be at the moment gestures, nodding, smiling, pointing, and so on, or it might even be just through the merest upturning of the lips and the hint of a smile for children with more severe selective mutism. If the teacher can, he or she should set aside a couple of minutes a few times a week to meet with the child. In this time, the teacher can find out more about him, his likes, his dislikes, his hobbies. And the teacher should try to help him in school. For example, perhaps he'd prefer to be sitting next to someone he likes as opposed to who he's sitting next to at the moment. Or he might want to participate in a specific activity and you have no idea about it, or the teacher has no idea about it. By building this relationship, the teacher can show the child that communicating with a teacher can be pleasant and beneficial, and that the teacher sees him and cares about him. Children with selective mutism can sometimes be overlooked by a teacher, and this is a way of showing him he's seen, he matters, and that the teacher's going to help him to overcome his selective mutism. The teacher should not ignore the child. Children with selective mutism can become almost invisible in class. The teacher should show him that he's important to her. She should look for and try to see other strengths of the child, and to show him she appreciates them. For example, the child might be excellent at music, drawing, being kind to others, good at sports, and so on. Children with selective mutism sometimes become seen by staff as solely owning one trait, and that is the failure to speak. Every child is so much more than his selective mutism, and the teacher and parents have to avoid zooming in on the selective mutism alone and relate to the child as a person with many strengths and abilities, even if currently he's having difficulty talking. The teacher or kindergarten teacher should not try to force the child to talk when it's clear that he's currently unable to do so. Most children with selective mutism are repeatedly put in a position in which they're required to give a verbal response. They fail to do so, and so they experience failure many times each day. This can amount to tens of times a day and tens of thousands of times a year, and can make the child feel thoroughly down and pessimistic about his ability to overcome his selective mutism. The teacher should try to gradually broaden the child's communication with her. Perhaps after a couple of weeks of building a communicative relationship a few times a week, she could ask the child to whisper something to the teacher, or send her an audio WhatsApp in answer to a question the teacher might ask. For example, the teacher could ask the child to tell him at home with his parents by WhatsApp what he ate for supper the previous night or what the weather was. And then when the child WhatsApps the answer to her at night, the teacher could listen to it with him in school every morning. In this way, the child or teen can start the day hearing his voice loud and clear in school or kindergarten. The teacher and the parents should bear in mind that selective mutism occurs usually as a gradual process with small steps towards speech. It's tempting to think that after a small improvement, for example, that the child whispers to the teacher, he'll soon be able to speak freely very soon. In practice, selective mutism is usually overcome with small, gradual steps. This requires patience, constancy in trying to help over a period of time, on a daily basis if possible, and a belief that the child is going to improve and that the teacher has the tools to help him. In my treatment course, I give teachers specific, powerful interventions that they can do in school or kindergarten that will help the child gradually begin speaking. The child should absolutely never be punished for not speaking. It's like punishing a person with broken legs for not jumping. He can't do it at this point. He has to be accepted and appreciated as he is, all the while looking for ways to increase the quantity and quality of his communication. Selective mutism is rarely oppositional behavior. It's usually the child's response to anxiety. The teacher should consider what could help him to feel socially more at ease, where to sit him, in which groups he might participate, how to best highlight his abilities in these settings. It often doesn't take very much to help him significantly feel better in school or kindergarten. The teacher should not make a huge commotion when she first hears the child talk. Children with selective mutism are usually shy and dread being in the spotlight. Understated praise usually works best with these children. The teacher should not enable the child to gradually increase his detaching himself and refraining from engaging in school activities. While the child with selective mutism needs sensitivity and understanding from the teacher, at the same time, the teacher should not become lax on demands which the child or teen is able to meet, such as schoolwork, participation in activities that do not require speech, and he is able to do, and in social activities. It's so important for teachers to be in touch with the child's family and think together with them how to help him. The teacher might benefit from seeing videos of the child at home in his element so that she knows what and who he really is when he's not in the grip of selective mutism. In my treatment course, I consider how the child could get behavioral or cognitive behavioral therapy for selective mutism within the school framework, and if the teacher might be able to be a part of this and carry out a step-ladder exposure intervention, gradual, small steps in a pleasant way to help him overcome his selective mutism. I guide the teacher in building and implementing this plan, which many teachers have done very successfully and managed to help ease the child to speech in school or in the kindergarten. These are just some important points for the teacher or kindergarten teacher to bear in mind in order to help the child with selective mutism improve and overcome his difficulties. Sometimes a relatively small investment of thought and effort makes such a big difference. In my treatment course, I address the teachers at length and consider in depth and with attention to detail how they can help the child blossom and flourish in school. I attach here a handout for teachers and kindergarten teachers, which you can print out and give them, so that they can put these suggestions into practice and help your child move gradually towards speech and improved social communication. The best of luck!